Well, an active day throughout the state of South Carolina, and obviously we still have some rainfall going on right now throughout the entire, for at least a good amount of the state, maybe not the entire state, but close, as we have some flood advisories going on. And so today definitely was not the quietest, but it will be tapering off as we go into overnight. So that is something to at least look forward to if you want to see just an end to the rainfall for tonight. As we move into tomorrow, though, scattered showers and storms continue, especially during the afternoon and the evening hours once again. And as we move into this weekend, unsettled with daily showers and thunderstorms modulated by a stalling backdoor cold front. And then warm and humid conditions pretty much stay with us, especially through Thursday. As once we move into the weekend, we're going to start seeing those cooler temperatures starting to really make themselves present. So that's what we're going to talk about tonight. If you have not hit the like button yet or the subscribe button yet, go ahead and do so. Also hit the share button as well. I'm your meteorologist, Jesse Peterson, and let's go ahead and talk about the weather for your Wednesday evening going into your future. Starting off, right now, obviously, like I was saying, we have some rainfall going on. We have a flood advisory right now over here in Columbia, going on to Lexington, Red Bank, South Carolina. And so this is seems to be right now urban and small stream flooding caused by excessive rainfall. And I mean, right now, between around a half an inch to an inch of rainfall has fallen, and an additional inch to 2 inches are expected. Now, what's going on throughout the entire U.S.? We do have some rainfall still going on, obviously, in the entire southeast. We have some rainfall in the mid Atlantic going into the Ohio Valley. Over inside of the central U.S., we have some more rainfall from Nebraska down to Oklahoma, Arkansas, Louisiana. Then some rainfall going on in Montana, Idaho, Oregon, California, and then even some more snowfall over here in the higher elevations of California. Now for our cloud cover, we do in fact have some cloud cover going on. You see some in the low country, you see some in the Grand Strand areas, even the Midlands and the upstate. All of these areas are receiving cloud cover right now as we speak. And that cloud cover for the future will continue. They definitely will continue because watch as we move into the 18Z, we go in and push this forward. You can see there are some clear spots for sure as we move into tomorrow, going into tomorrow morning, tomorrow afternoon. But we stay mostly cloudy. And then even as we move into Friday, Friday afternoon, cloud cover continues statewide. Statewide. So what's going on in terms of our temperatures? Well, temperature-wise, seems like that we are 70s, 80s for the most part. 78 Somerville, 79 Charleston, Beaufort, Hilton Head Island, 77 in Orangeburg, 78 in Myrtle Beach, 77 in Conway, 78 Sumter, 77 in Columbia, 76 inside of Spartanburg, Gaffney, York, Rock Hill, 74 in Greenville, 75 in Clemson. Now for our air quality, we do have some moderate areas like in Spartanburg down to the Tri-County area. So if you're in those yellow zones for tonight, just make sure that you are aware and make sure that you are paying attention to that air quality. Low temperatures for tonight, we're talking about 66 from Greenville to Spartanburg, Rock Hill, 70, Columbia, Sumter, 68 in Greenwood, Newberry, even around 69 in Moncks Corner and Walterboro, 77 in Charleston, 73 Georgetown, 75 in Myrtle Beach. High temperatures for tomorrow, we're going to see actually a good amount of 90s. 85 Spartanburg, 86 Rock Hill, 90 Columbia, Orangeburg, 90 Moncks Corner, 86 in Charleston, 89 Georgetown, 87 in Myrtle Beach, and 88 in Hilton Head Island. Rainfall as we move throughout the next 24 hours, we're looking around a good 100th of an inch to a 10th of an inch for Cheraw, going on into Kingstree, Moncks Corner, 10th of an inch to a quarter of an inch in Walterboro, going on inside of Charleston, Barnwell. And then some areas may even get to around a quarter of an inch to a half an inch to maybe even a half an inch to an inch of rainfall. So make sure that you are aware of that, have that rain gear with you, especially as you get into tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow evening. SPC outlook for tonight, no thunderstorms, at least severe, are expected. Thunderstorms are definitely possible, but nothing severe. Same thing for tomorrow and Friday. It's cut out a little bit, but the more northeastern PD areas, the more northern Grand Strand areas are not expecting thunderstorm activity on Friday, but that can always expand. It's 3 days out. Fire weather is not expected, but excessive rainfall wise, isolated flash flooding is definitely in the forecast for us. The upstate, the Midlands, the PD areas are looking for an isolated flash flood risk. Not for tonight. Tonight we're good. This is for tomorrow. This is for tomorrow right here going into the 28th. Then once we move into Friday, we have more isolated flash flooding over in the western parts of the state from Greenville, Anderson, Greenwood, down into western Midlands, and also into a good amount of the low country. That's for Friday. Saturday comes along, and now we're taking a look at some isolated flash flooding now upstate, again, down throughout these same areas, low country, Midlands, going on inside the Grand Strand area. And then finally, day 5, that is on Sunday here. Sunday, we're looking at some more isolated flash flooding going on inside of the western low country and the western Midlands. So now, what about the crazy score? Well, for tonight, we're at a 22. We're inside the mild category. Slightly breezy or cloudy, but no major concerns right now. And so the main reason for that is really just because, well, cloudy conditions are definitely going on. You just saw it. Rainfall activity is still going on right now, but honestly, nothing else too dangerous, nothing else too concerning for us. So let's go on now and take a look at the models. Remember, the time is at the bottom part of your screen. Make sure that you're keeping an eye out on that, because if you lose track, you may lose out on where we are, and obviously you're going to be confused, and it's just not going to be a great time overall. So make sure that you are paying attention to the time at the bottom part of the screen when it does show up. So we're going to start off here at around 9 o'clock p.m. And just once we go in and push this forward, you can see that as we get into the overnight hours, precipitation does continue to kind of just fizzle out. We're looking at dry conditions as we move more and more into Thursday. Then as we move into Thursday morning, still not seeing too much, but once we get into Thursday afternoon, 12 o'clock, noon or so, we're looking at some rain showers, maybe trying to move into the upstate a little bit. We go into around 2 o'clock p.m., going into around 3, 4, 5 o'clock p.m., and look at how that thunderstorm activity really starts to get going. Now from the low country over into the Midlands, over inside of the upstate, we're seeing thunderstorm activity starting to go off. We move into Thursday at around 8 o'clock, 9, 10 p.m., going all the way into the overnight hours, and that rainfall activity does seem to try and decrease. Does definitely seems like it's going to try and decrease as we move more and more into Friday morning. Friday morning comes along. What do we see? We see maybe a couple, like an isolated 1 or 2 showers going on inside of the low country on Friday morning, but it's very isolated, and honestly, I'm not really too worried about that. But now as we go later into the afternoon, it could turn into some thunderstorm activity in the low country on Friday. So overall, a good amount going on, but what about for the entire state for the long term? So even past what we're talking about right now. Well, as we go in and push this forward, I will say rainfall activity does continue. I mean, even as we go all the way through into this weekend, look at how much rainfall we're starting to get here. And then as we move into Sunday, going into Monday, I mean, we see a little bit of a decrease. We see a little bit of a decrease for when it comes to rainfall activity as we go into this weekend. Well, not this weekend, but I should honestly say like the later half of the weekend going into the early parts of next week. We move into Tuesday, going into Wednesday, and again, things really try to calm down, and it's not as active as it once was. But we do see some more rainfall trying to go on as, potentially moving to around Friday or so of next week, Saturday. And what is that? That's a tropical system that you see right there. Now, I know obviously this is 200 plus hours out. This is honestly a week out from now, so I'm not really saying, oh, this is going to happen. But, June is the start of hurricane season. And, it's not out of the realm of possibility. It's not. So the fact that this is here means that, we're going to watch for it. But am I saying it's going to happen? No. I'm just saying, let's keep an eye on it, see what's going to happen with it. The actual National Hurricane Center has, started putting out their updates. For hurricane season, even though it doesn't start until, the next couple of days. And they say no tropical cyclone activity is expected. So, obviously we're going to stick with what they say and say that it's not expected at this time. But you can see that there is some type of activity maybe trying to go on, bring us some beneficial rainfall, especially to the low country and to the Grand Strand areas as we move into maybe the first week or two of June. So that's what we're looking at here in terms of our rainfall for the next 300 or so hours. What about totals? We're going to move over to the GEFS real quick, and we're going to take a look at these totals. And for right now, they're saying around a good inch and a half to maybe even up to around 4 inches or so statewide as we go throughout the next 400 hours for precipitation. So good amount. Will it be enough to get rid of the drought? No. Will it be enough to definitely help out the drought? Absolutely. And then if we go in and take a look at the European, obviously the European starts out on the 18G, so let's just go in and push it forward. And honestly, it has us around 2 inches, probably up to around 4.5, close to 5 inches or so, statewide as we move throughout the next 360 hours or so. So, again, very active, very beneficial rainfall. And so if you want to see that rainfall, I mean, obviously, we know that it's coming. We had a good little amount of rainfall fall at my house today. I believe we had around 0.03 inches, so 3/100ths of an inch of rainfall for me at my house today. Now, one thing I did notice as well is while I was out, it was, raining pretty hard. And I think it definitely rained more than 3/100ths of an inch. But, from where I was today all the way, to where my house was, it's a bit of a distance, but like a 10-minute driving distance or so. And so, where I was, we got a lot more rainfall than what we did at my house. So that's just the discrepancies in terms of how far away things are, how a shower may be stronger in one side of town, but where you are, it's not that bad. I mean, we've even seen it, as small as neighborhoods. Part of a neighborhood could begin, some heavy rainfall, but the other half, not really receiving too much. And so that really does show me at least that summer-like pattern. That really does resemble that summer-like pattern, those summer-like thunderstorms to where, you may look out front, oh, it's raining pretty hard in the front yard, but then you go to look at the backyard, you don't really see too much going on. But let's go on now and talk about temperatures. So we're going to start off here on Wednesday going into Thursday. And honestly, what I see right now is just warmer temperature just continuing on for us. But then that cold front will be moving through. And now we're looking at cooler temperatures as you go into this weekend. That was expected, and that will continue. I mean, we're talking about 10 to 15 degrees below average or so as we move into, Monday going into Tuesday, maybe even going into Wednesday as well. And honestly, it's not looking as bad as it once was. I mean, I saw widespread 20 degrees below average temperatures from the GFS model earlier. Now it's not really seeming that bad early on. It's really looking like some isolated spots while everybody else kind of just stays normal. But it does show cooler air moving in, and obviously with the cold front moving through, we know that there's going to be some cooler air to watch for. And then if we go and take a look at our actual temperatures, we'll watch as we go into Thursday. Going into Friday, we're looking at some more 80s, 90s coming along. Just because it's cooler doesn't mean we're going to be escaping the 80s and the 90s. But then once we go all the way into next week, Monday, going into Tuesday, Wednesday, we're back up into the mid-80s or so. Thursday, we're back up into the 80s once again. And 80s just continue for us. Now, if we go and take a look at the ensembles real quick. This is the GEFS right here. And we're going to take a look real quick at the actual mean temperature. So this is what our temperatures could look like as we move throughout the next 200 hours. And it's more accurate just because it's more on a mean-based time frame, meaning that it's a bunch of members put together. And honestly, again, seeing 80s, seeing 90s going around as we move all the way into Friday of June the 12th. So warmer temperatures are coming. We just have a little bit of a hump to get over with these cooler temperatures this weekend going into early next week and maybe a little bit of next week. But warmer temperatures definitely will be coming back. We're not done with cooler air, though. And that's all that I have to say here. So nothing to talk about in terms of the drought. That update has not came out yet. Nothing in terms of earthquakes. So let's go in now and talk with the audience. If you want to be a part of the audience, you can by joining us here at 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. But before we go in and get to that, I think we may start to switch the midweek updates at the beginning, just due to how the intro is laid out, unless I can somehow get it in. But for right now, it's Wednesday evening, so you know what that means. We made it halfway through the work week. Just Thursday and Friday left to go, And we will be at the weekend already. But starting off, my Aunt Lulu was here first tonight. She says, "Good evening, everyone. Good evening to you. I pray that everyone had a not too soggy rain day. It wasn't too bad. Today I was walking today, and obviously when rain falls on the branches of trees, they start to sag a little bit. I didn't realize it, and so that branch was never there. I was walking through, and then the top of my head hit the branch, flew back, and then hit me in the face. With all my glasses, everything got wet on my face. Hair was all wet. It was kind of, to everybody around, it was hilarious. To me, it was kind of just embarrassing. But not too bad, though. Not too bad. Mr. Anthony says, "Good evening, everyone. Good evening to you." My Nana says, "Hello, Jay, and all. Hello to you. A really nice day today. Really nice day today. Well, glad to hear that." My Aunt Lewis says, "Today I went to an appointment in Conway on the way home. The rain was coming down hard. A driver in front of me pulled over, and it was bad, but I continued by the grace of the Lord. I made it home." Well, glad to hear that. Always, if you need to pull over for any reason like the driver did, obviously you can. My Lou says today's high was around 89, but it felt like 97 with humidity. Currently it's 75. Well, in my house today, currently it's 77. High temperature was around 90. And then the feel like temperatures were around 100. We're around 100 degrees today. Hopefully the rain decreased the drought. We'll see tomorrow what happens. That says, "Good evening, gentlemen, the 360 Weather family. Good evening to you. I trust all is well with everyone. It was a gorgeous day here in San Antonio. Plenty of sunshine. We enjoyed a high of 85. Nimailu says today we also had some thunderstorms. Georgetown had around 1.86 inches of rainfall. Well, I'm glad to hear that. Definitely, we need the rainfall. We all need the rainfall. As we still have a drought going on throughout the state as of Wednesday, May the 27th, 2026 at 9:22 p.m. So, that, we're going to talk about the drought monitor tomorrow. And then also, I've not seen it yet, but let me go in and check it out. Seemed like we've had 16 people tune in tonight and only 4 likes. 16 people have tuned in and we only have 4 likes. We can do way better than that. 12 people have not hit the like button so far. So if you're a part of that group of 12 that have not hit the like button, go in and do so. It is free. It is free. It is free. And as always, not only is it free, but it takes like 2 seconds. There we go. I started to see it going up a little bit. So let's go and get that like button up. Go on and get that up. As that's like, one of the easiest things you'll ever do. But that's all I have to say here. So, again, this is what the drought looks like if you want to see what it looks like here for tomorrow. But let's go and talk about the 4 areas outside of South Carolina. You might be asking, 4 areas, what am I talking about? I'm talking about San Antonio, Texas, Raleigh, North Carolina, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, as well as Duncan, Oklahoma. The reason why we talk about these 4 areas is because we have people from these areas who tune in almost nightly. And because they tune in almost nightly, we're going to give them their forecast for them. So, usually we always start off with San Antonio, and that will continue for us as we go into tonight. So with San Antonio first, you have low temperatures tonight at 68, high temperature tomorrow at 88, and then low temperatures tomorrow night at 73. Patchy fog will be a bit of an issue. Patchy fog will be a bit of an issue as you go into tonight and tomorrow morning. So make sure that you're aware there. You need, low beams on, not high beams. Not high beams, low beams on. So you don't, because obviously high beams not really going to do too much, and then also it's going to blind other people as well. So make sure that you're not doing that. That, and then also, just for your severe weather, honestly, I'm not really seeing too much right now. I'm not seeing too much right now in terms of severe weather for days 1 through 8. And then in terms of excessive rainfall, it seems like that you are continuing to stay in the clear for tonight, tomorrow, and just the next 5 days in general. Now for your future, temperature-wise, you're going to continue to be up into the 80s and 90s, especially as you get into this weekend. And then once you move into next week, going to Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, you're going to be back up again into the 90s. Precipitation also continuing to stay up. But for right now, you're going to remain dry until you get to around Sunday night, Monday or so, to where those rain chances will continue to go up more and more. So, I mean, overall, not really too bad. Not really too bad right now. Not really too bad. Next up, let's go on and talk about Raleigh, North Carolina, with low temperatures tonight or did I not change that? No, I think I did. Maybe. Did I change the wrong one? No, I did not. Okay, well, low temperatures tonight at 70, high temperature for tomorrow at 87, and then low temperatures tomorrow night, that should be a 63. I don't know what just happened, but looking at your precipitation chances for tonight, chance of showers are there. Tomorrow, chance of showers are there as well. And then tomorrow night, nothing. You're not looking at anything in terms of rainfall chances. So definitely do enjoy the rainfall that you get now, because once you get throughout this weekend, you're not looking at any more rainfall until next week. Now, if you go on and take a look at your excessive rainfall, severe weather, it looks like that you're good for now. There is a little isolated flash or isolated severe weather risk, but honestly, I'm not seeing anything right now, and nothing with flash flooding either. And then once you get past that as well, I don't really see anything else here either. So I do think that you're good. And then temperature-wise, it looks like that you will just continue to be up into the 80s, and then once you move into the weekend, going into next week, 70s are going to be trying to come back. 70s are going to be trying to come back. And then let me go on and check real quick. I don't see anything else inside of the chat. I do have a question for the top fans of the night real quick, so I'm going to take a little pause real quick. And the question for tonight, by the way, if you want to go on and be a part of the top fans, you probably should want to try and answer this question for tonight. But for the top fans of the night for tonight, my question is to really see who is paying attention, which model, and this is, pretty straightforward. You have a 50-50 shot of getting it correct here. Which model, between the GEFS and the European model, had the most average base rainfall? So what do I mean? Like, which one on an average basis showed more rain for the state of South Carolina? Was it the GEFS or was it the European? If you get that correct, you get the top fan of the night for tonight. Again, 50-50 shot. So, you probably will get it correct if you just answer it. But we'll go on and check that out once we get there. Moving on now, let's talk about Philadelphia. You have low temperatures tonight at around a good 64, high temperature for tomorrow at 78, and then low temperatures tomorrow night at 56. Precipitation, you do have a slight chance of showers for tonight, and then tomorrow, no precipitation is expected in general. No precipitation is expected in general. So we're not looking for anything here in terms of rainfall. And honestly, just for your future, Monday and Tuesday, you have a little chance of shower activity, but you're not seeing anything else past that. For your excessive rainfall, no flash flooding for you. So I'm not seeing anything here. And then in terms of severe weather for you, I'm not seeing anything here either. And then finally, the final area, that being Duncan, Oklahoma. Usually, as I say before we say it, usually the more active area. But honestly, it seems like that it may be the more active area tonight. But let's go on and check that out right now. Starting off with low temperatures tonight at around a good 63, high temperature for tomorrow at 83, and then low temperatures tomorrow night at 65. There is a slight chance of storms tonight, and then a chance of showers tonight as well. But then tomorrow, there's a chance of thunderstorms, and then tomorrow night, obviously nothing is expected there. Severe weather, that is possible. Friday, May the 29th, isolated severe storms is possible for you. And then for excessive rainfall, you do have a risk of excessive rainfall as you go into maybe tonight, but I'm not seeing anything else too bad here either. And then for your future, oops, did I close it out? I think I did. Just for your future in general, I'm not really seeing anything except for just active conditions continuing. You're going to be active for the good amount of the weekend, potentially, even as we go into around Monday, Tuesday. And then temperature-wise, you're going to continue to be up into the 80s. And so that's all I have to say here. Let's go in and see what's going on throughout the entire U.S. weather news-wise. Well, widespread showers and storms may produce isolated instances of flash flooding across the Ozarks and the southeast through Friday. Scattered severe storms and heavy rainfall is expected across the northwest today. Gusty winds and low relative humidity will contribute to elevated fire weather over a portion of the northern plains, with a secondary threat in the Great Basin. So that's all what's going on right now. And we do also have some air quality alerts going on throughout Dallas, Fort Worth, Houston. Those areas are included in there. And even up there in Chicago, or is that, yeah, that's the air quality alert for this area around Chicago, around Gary, Indiana. And it's called a Chicago Area Air Pollution Action Day. It's when weather conditions are such that widespread ozone or particulate levels are expected to be at or above the unhealthy for sensitive groups category of the air quality index for multiple days. So, if you know anybody up there in Chicago, anybody down there in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, anybody in Houston, maybe they don't want to be outside for too long. But that's all that I have to say here. Top fans of the night, honestly, I'm looking at it right now, and we do obviously have two answers. My mom said the GFS, my aunt Lewis said the European, and from what I can see right now, just a good look at this, I think that it's probably going to have to go to, where's my drum roll at real quick? I think it's going to have to go to the European. European shows around 2 inches or more for everybody, while the GEFS shows around an inch and a half or so. I think that the European does have they probably have around the same totals or so. But honestly, I think that the European probably has a more modest, more above average temperature rates than the GEFS does. So Mount Lula does win it for tonight. So congratulations to you. Any sort of honorable mentions? Thad was up there, and then since my mom did answer, I will go on and give her an honorable mention as well for tonight. And that's all that I can see here. So make sure if you've not liked button yet, go on and do so. Also, subscribe button. We're at 736, trying to get to 800. And then also share with your friends, your family members, your acquaintances, people that you don't talk to regularly, because it's free, it's free, it's free. Also, we had a good day in terms of subscriber growth. We're at 736, trying to get to 800. We are right now on a good 64 away from that main goal of 800. Let's go in and get there. It's free, as always.